Welcome to JasonWhiskyWise. My name is Jason. Welcome to this whiskey review where today, here on the channel, we're going to be continuing our Lakes Whisky or Lakes Distillery reviews, where we're going to be now moving into some of their blended whiskies in the series called The One. So if you haven't heard them, I'm going to be covering, I think, 5 videos now. In the next 5 videos, we're going to look at some of their blended whiskies. And these are whiskies where the Lake single malt is blended together with Scottish malts and Scottish grains to produce a unique whiskey. So they've got some over here, which is the One signature blend, the One sherry cask, port cask, orange wine cask, which I'm really excited to show you and explore the flavor profiles with you. Lakes Muscatel, and I think there was another one which I tried in the past, but they have evolved the range from when I first tried them in a sort of a rounded bottle. So it's going to be exciting, and I'll actually show you, we've actually even got Mr. Bananas joining us back here on the channel, which I'm excited, and he's actually already had a dram, so I'm going to take this away from you before you drink that one. So let's get started into this whiskey. So I've already told you what the One series is, and if you have missed any of the other videos that I've reviewed from the Lakes Distillery or Lakes Whiskies, I'm going to leave them linked in the top corner. Feel free to go and check out that playlist, and it's going to contain all of the whiskies from the Lakes Distillery, whether it be the blend, whether it be their single malts, it'll all be together, so you can go, feel free to check them all out. And I'll also leave some videos on the screen at the end of this video. So, without further ado, let's dive into the Lakes Signature Blend. Now this one over here is, again, it's a mixture of Lake single malt and malts and single grains from Scotland put together. And I believe these ones, in terms of the Scottish whiskies that were included in this one, you've got some from the Highlands, from Islay, and also Speyside that go into this blend. Now, in terms of ABV, or in terms of actually my review style structure, I keep jumping the gun on the age, these are no age statement whiskies, because again, the Lakes Distillery is fairly a young distillery, and the main importance for them is quality of liquid. Now, ABV on this one is 46.6%, and in terms of price point on this one comes in around about £40 a bottle. So it's not too expensive. When you look at blends nowadays, some of them are going up to £50. This one's coming in at £40 per bottle. And in terms of exclusivity, I believe it's not exclusive, but these are non-chill filtered and all natural color, which is something, there's a double tick, which everyone likes to see. Natural color and non-chill filtered. So without further ado, let's dive into the nose. What do you think, Mr. Bananas? I think let's dive straight into the nose of this whiskey and see what we find on the nose. Into the nose. For me, I'm picking up a lot of characteristics. For some reason, I'm picking up this note of chives. It reminds me of this green, herbal chives character. But behind that, it's got this little bit of it reminds me of a whiteboard marker. If any of you have used whiteboards recently or in the past, and you smell the whiteboard marker, it's got this certain aroma to it. For me, it's got that. Behind there, you've got this vanilla note, and this is not like a vanilla milkshake or anything like that. This is like vanilla essence. It's kind of very strong and, quite bold in its character. There is a sweeter note that follows behind that. And for me, I'm getting butterscotch, a nice sweeter, it's rounded in its sweetness. There is a little bit of a peppery note as well. This is like white pepper. But then it goes back to the sweetness, and it reminds me actually of, a chocolate eclair, but without the chocolate on the top. So you've got the pastry and a nice sort of vanilla cream filling on the insides. And following behind that, I'm getting a bit of a nuttier, but again, sweeter profile. This is like a marzipan, or even almonds. Yeah, marzipan is almonds. So yeah, it's got marzipan, but at the same time, white almonds on the side. Very nice nose. Let's see what they have in store for the palate. Into the palate, slanger. So in terms of arrival on the palate for this whiskey, texture-wise, it's not as rich as a single malt. Texture for me, I think, is more light medium. But it is quite nice and juicy. There is a little mild spice, but for me, this is more like a candied ginger, a bit more sweeter, and then it develops into that vanilla-y fudge sweetness, a bit of nutmeg, and then it goes into sort of like golden sultanas, white fruits. For me, it's like a pear, but not a ripe pear. This is like a raw pear, where it's got a bit more character about it. And then following behind that, there's a little bit of a heat that develops at the end, which is, to me, like, it reminds me of ginger biscuits or ginger nut biscuits. You've got that bit of sweetness, but at the same time, that little bit of heat to it, which kind of works hand in hand with each other. Very nice. Let's see what we have in store for the finish. We'll come to our conclusion on this whiskey. So finally, to conclude the Lake Signature Blend, for me on the finish of this whiskey, lengthwise on the finish, I'd say it's more short medium. It's not really very long because it does fade rather quickly, and it doesn't offer very much complexity. For me, that crystallized ginger does stay there on the palate, and for me, it's developed now from that little peary note on the palate. For me, it's like apple, and it's like apple sauce, which you get sometimes in a jar, or you can even sort of relate this to like an apple crumble with that bit of a biscuity chopping with a little bit of sweetness to it. Overall, not a bad dram, but in terms of score, I'll give you my score and then I'll explain to you what I think of this whiskey. Score-wise, we're giving this one an 84 out of 100. Overall, in this whiskey, it's got a nice nose. Palate-wise, I felt it was rather light, and even the finish was just rather short. It doesn't offer a lot of complexity for a blend with these certain types of components. However, it does do a very nice job. And if you're looking for something, just really mellow, but at the same time with these little bursts of character with that sort of crystallized ginger, this does it for you. And the nose with that butterscotch as well, one of my sort of favorite all-time sort of things to go for, especially on the nose of this whiskey. So overall, money value, water, time, for me, value for money, it's okay. £40 can be a little bit a lot for something that's not very complex. As for whether it needs water, again, water for me, I think I'm say 50-50 on this one. For me, the texture isn't very rich, so personally, I'm more pulling towards you don't really need water. And in terms of time, I would give this one a little bit of time. Let it open up a little in the glass, because again, I've left this for 10 minutes before filming, just trying to get everything set up, and it's done it a lot of justice. But overall, again, this is something that's rather simple and mellow. It's not overly complex, and it does a really nice job. So 84 out of 100 is my score on the Lakes Signature Blend. But if you have tried this one, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I'd be interested to hear if you tried any of the One series. So let me know your thoughts on these. But I'm going to wrap the video up that, me and Mr. Bananas. I think we are going to get into the next whiskey, which will feature in the next video. But thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed, drop it a thumbs up. Be sure to hit the subscribe button over here, which we'll leave over there. If you're new to the channel, feel free to join us on our whiskey adventure. And this has been me, JasonWhiskyWise, Mr. Bananas, and we'll catch you all for the next video. Slàinte.